Welcome to Termite Machine Works. My name is Keith. Alright, we're just drilling and tapping our set screw hole for the shank that holds the actual dart that you're going to throw the harpoon with. And so we drill it out, we turn around in the vise here, then we go ahead and we take our 1/4 inch 20 gun tap here, and we tap on down through the hole here until we get to the center. Kind of freewheels. Alright, just gets a 1/4 20 by 1/4 length set screw in there. We dump out the shavings, and then the very last thing we do is we sign our harpoons. And that just reads turn right and the year 12. Okay, first thing I do is I face off the end, chamfer it inside, break the edge on the outside. I've made sure that the head itself slips in fairly easy to that point of the knurl, and then I'm going to coat that with a 3M rubber adhesive. And the reason why I use that product right there is when it goes in, that material kind of coats the whole shank and puts a coating on it, because the salt water takes and makes aluminum froth, and it also makes the bronze or brass head oxidize as well. By coating it with the 3M adhesive, I'm creating a seal within the tube, kind of helps bond them. The knurl holds it. So once they're cured in there, that head is in there permanently, and somebody bends a shank and they bring it back to me, I can put it in a lathe there, and I hold the head and I can rotate extremely fast. I know how far this is, so I can even cut this real close. So I heat this up with a torch, and I can almost push it off with a screwdriver once it's hot. And then I can reuse the head. The head is the most costly part of the whole operation here, and if you can bring back the head, you know, we can build you a new stick for a lot less than buying a brand new one. Alright, so this is ready to go. What I normally do is I just extend it out a little bit, and sometimes the force, I have a little bit of raised material on the jaw area right here, and I just give it a quick polish on the end. Okay, now that's on the long harpoons. The cockpit sticks get polished completely from end to end when they're all done. But any harpoon, and the difference between a harpoon and a cockpit stick is the length. Generally, cockpit sticks are only 6 to 8 foot, and harpoons are anywhere from 8 to 12. Now, a lot of guys that there's guys building sticks. Sometimes even my heads I sell separate in large quantities, and some guys will take a saw cut and they'll cut off their sticks, and they make sticks from the saw cut. But in reality, this end of the aluminum tube is pushing against or seating against your head, so this should be a machine surface. And I do machine fit every one of my sticks I build here at the shop. I can already see this. This is already in a pretty far distance to go in and out doing that. So it's going to be worthwhile for me to go ahead because we're going to be doing this to just about every one of these. And you know, you got to crank this in and crank it out so that you got clearance to put your heads in. And what we're doing here is we're just going to turn around our tooling a little bit so that we don't have to feed our compound in halfway around the world to get that cut right there. And now we can come in, we can kiss the outside, come there, kiss on the inside, and within 2-3 cranks be out of the way to go ahead and install our head. So that's what we're going to do. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get this one turned around, and then we put the head in the other side. We face off both ends. It's not necessarily on the throwing end, but it does keep from cutting. It also, if the rubber cap comes off the end and it's sliding around on the deck, it's not going to be scraping into the gel coat job. Okay, with the tool bit in its new position, let's make a test run. Alright, very quick. Just take your hand file and roll the little bit of knurl there. Okay, got some goop on here. Roll it and twist it as we go in. Runs it all the way over the whole thing. Alright, we got to get a rag down here because we're going to be dripping some of that stuff there. Alright, and we drive it in. Alright. Bring it out. Wipe off the excess. Alright, now we're working on 3 different sections of our 3-piece stick. It's a 6-foot throwing stick, just like our regular right stick, popular cockpit stick. Now, of course, we have these slugs here that we thread up, and we have a threaded bore, and the sections screw together like this. So this is the mid sections we're doing now, and of course, just like when we seat in the heads, this surface that these two are going to join have got to be parallel to each other, and that face has got to be perpendicular or 90 degrees to the run of the stick, so that the stick stays straight even though 3 pieces are screwing together. Alright, so that's what we're doing right here. Okay, now we're getting ready to put the internal threads into the pipe here, but we're setting up a tap. And we're going to set up a tap, and we're going to do some auto tapping right in the lathe. And we set up our CA2 holder. It's in a Loris. It's got the V in here, and you can locate round diameters really nice and square. We've got our block square to the axis of the lathe and the spindle, and we've got the tool bit into the V, and we're tightened down and we're secure. Now what we've done is we go ahead and we put in one of our centers that we usually turn to run things between centers, and it's really nice and true. Okay, we didn't have to take a skim cut on it. I was able to move it around and tighten up a few of the jaws and, you know, or points here of tightening up the chuck, and I got it to run true enough. And what I'm going to do now is this tap has got a center hole on the end of it here, and what I'm going to do is bring that in and locate that center on this one here and be able to set my dial 0 for my compound in and out, and I'm going to float this up and down, and I'm going to lock it at the right height. Then I can come back in and I can duplicate exactly center with this tap in between parts, because we will have to either lift off our tool holder or back the whole carriage back out of the way to interchange our tubes that we're going to be threading. Alright, so I'm going to bring it on in here, and then I'm going to go ahead and loosen the adjustment here, and just lightly, and this is like mostly by feel, and bringing the light in here so I can really see. And there's going to be a certain amount of flex because I am also going to let the pipe hang out past the jaws a little bit so it can have a little bit of freedom in there. And we want to make sure that we're as close as possible. And I'm just really looking at the gap all the way around. And just a little bit up from there. You know, take a little bit of time, make it exactly right. There we go. Alright, we're going to lock that down. And we're going to set this at 0. And another thing I like to do, okay, I wipe this off so I can get a nice Sharpie line on there. And, you know, for a quick eyeball, you know, you want a little Sharpie line, doesn't hurt. It's a quick visual. You can get it out of the corner of your eye, and you know, every once in a while I do put this. You just want to see if things are in line or out of line, and kind of get used to it. You're going to be doing some repetition here, so I don't know. We got at least 16, 24 or so ends to tap out here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pull our center and get our first tube in there.